Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we're jumping into the absolutely captivating story of Lisbon, a city that's been shaped by epic exploration, unimaginable disaster, and a constant driving need to reinvent itself.
So you've got to wonder, right? How on earth did one of Europe's most ancient capitals, a city that's actually older than Rome, suddenly become this cool global hotspot for tech and creativity? Well, that's the story we're going to unravel today.
To really get Lisbon, you have to go way, way back. Because this city isn't just old, its story is built in layers, with each one laid down by some of history's greatest empires.
Just look at this timeline. It's like a who's who of ancient powers. It all kicked off with the Phoenicians, who saw this amazing natural harbor and set up shop. Then the Romans rolled in and made it an important city. After them, the Moors took over for centuries, and they left their mark everywhere, from the architecture to the name of the famous Alfama district. And finally, it was brought back into Christian Europe. Every single group left a piece of itself behind, baked into the city's very soul.
Okay, so let's get to the era that didn't just put Lisbon on the map. It basically made Lisbon the center of the entire world map. This was a time of almost unbelievable wealth and power, all fueled by its ridiculously brave and ambitious explorers.
We are talking about the 1500s, the 16th century. This is the moment everything changes. Lisbon becomes the engine of this new, connected, globalized world. It was the place where it all happened.
And I'm not exaggerating here. For a time, Lisbon was, hands down, the wealthiest city on the planet. The amount of money pouring into its port was just staggering. It was a metropolis literally dripping with gold and buzzing with new ideas.
And all this wealth was built on a revolutionary global trading network. After Vasco da Gama made his famous voyage to India in 1498, it was game on. Suddenly, you had ships full of spices from the east, sugar from Brazil, textiles, and, tragically, this immense wealth was also built on the horrific trade of enslaved people from Africa. The city was this chaotic, cosmopolitan hub where the world's goods, people, and money all collided.
But an age that golden just can't last forever. And for Lisbon, the end didn't come slowly. It was sudden, violent, and utterly catastrophic. What happens next is the story of complete devastation, followed by one of the most incredible comebacks in history.
Picture it, November 1st, 1755. It's All Saints' Day, a major holiday. The city's magnificent churches are packed with people attending morning mass.
And then the ground just erupts, an earthquake of almost unbelievable power, estimated today at a massive 9.0 on the Richter scale, just tears the city to its foundations.
And if that wasn't terrifying enough, for those who survived and ran towards the open space of the waterfront for safety, a second disaster was racing towards them, a giant tsunami that surged up the river.
The end result was purely apocalyptic. Between the quake, the tsunami, and the fires that raged for days afterwards, up to 85% of Lisbon was reduced to rubble. The city was pretty much wiped off the map.
But this is the thing about Lisbon. Out of total destruction came total reinvention. They could have just rebuilt the old, winding medieval streets, but no. The prime minister at the time, a visionary guy called the Marquis of Pombal, saw a chance to create something brand new. He cleared the ruins and laid out a modern, grid-planned city designed for a new era.
And this is where it gets really ingenious. Pombal's engineers developed this thing called the Gaiola Pombalina, or the Pombaline cage. It was basically a flexible wooden skeleton built inside the stone walls to help buildings withstand shocks. It was one of the world's very first examples of earthquake-resistant design. See? Lisbon didn't just rebuild, it innovated its way out of disaster.
And that deep history of reinvention is what makes Lisbon what it is today. Right now, the city is a global hub all over again, but this modern boom has created its own tricky, complicated paradox.
Yeah, I think this quote absolutely nails it. You can draw a straight line from those risk-taking explorers of the past to the tech entrepreneurs flocking to the city today. That mindset seems to be part of this city's DNA.
And the results are all around you. Europe's biggest tech conference, Web Summit, is now in Lisbon. You've got digital nomads and startups pouring in, attracted by the incredible quality of life. And it's not just one niche. The city's becoming a powerhouse in everything from fintech to aerospace.
But, and this is the heart of the paradox we mentioned, this incredible success has come with some serious challenges, especially for the people who have always called Lisbon home.
What you're looking at here is the very soul of the city. Neighborhoods like Alfama, which amazingly survived the 1755 earthquake, and the super diverse Muraria, well, they're now facing a new kind of threat, the immense pressure of mass tourism and gentrification.
And this table really breaks it down. Economically, you have what some people call Airbnbization. So many short-term lets that housing and rental prices are skyrocketing, pushing locals out. And that has a massive social impact. You've got long-term residents being displaced, and this growing fear that the city's unique identity is slowly being washed away.
If you need one single statistic to understand the sheer scale of this, get this. Back in 2022, there were 6 tourists for every 1 resident. Just let that sink in for a moment. 6 to 1.
So that brings us to the final chapter. Where does Lisbon go from here? The city is at another major crossroads, getting ready, it seems, for its next great voyage. So, what can we take away from all this? Well, Lisbon's story teaches us about unbelievable resilience. It shows us that reinvention is just part of its identity. But its present situation teaches us about a really modern challenge. How do you grow and succeed without losing the authentic soul that made you special in the first place? And really, that leaves us with this one big question. 500 years ago, Lisbon's explorers set out to discover the world. Now, as the world comes flooding into Lisbon, the city's greatest challenge might just be to look inward and figure out how to save its own precious soul.